You know, Don, back in the day, things were just simpler. You could walk down the street without a care in the world. We didn't have all these fancy gadgets and gizmos. We had to make our own fun. I remember when I was a kid, me and Cornpop used to play stickball in the alley behind our house. Of course, that was before I hit Cornpop in the head with the ball. Poor fella was never the same after that.
I hear you, Joe. Back in my day, people knew how to respect each other. None of this cancel culture nonsense. Instead of listening to Joe Rogan, you just went to the local diner and smoked pot behind the dumpster with the local loser.
And what about the cars, Don? Classic Mustangs, Corvettes, Thunderbirds. I say if you can't look good wrapping around a tree at 60 miles an hour, why the hell would you even drive?
You got that right, Joe. None of these electric cars made in China are worth a damn. Give me a good old American muscle car any day.
But let's not forget about the food. Burgers, fries, milkshakes. That's what real American cuisine is all about.
Absolutely, Joe. My diet is almost exclusively made up of those foods alone.
Geez, Don, your blood pressure must be even higher than inflation back in the 70s.
Shut it, Sleepy Joe.
Ah, the good old days. I tell you, Don, we sure knew how to live back then. Hey, Barack, we were just talking about the good old days. You remember those, don't you?
Of course, Joe. But let's not forget about the present. The kids these days have a lot to offer, too.
I don't know about that, Barack. The youth these days are all about filming TikTok and doing Fortnite dances. They don't know how to appreciate the real world.
I have to agree with Don here, Barack. I saw a few kids flossing in the street the other day, and I had half a mind to hit them with my car.
You always have half a mind, Joe.
I see what you're saying, Don, but you're selling them short. The kids these days are some of the most creative and innovative people around.
What do you mean, Barack? I mean, the Tide Pod Challenge was cool and all, but remember that Donald nearly choked on one of them.
Take social media, for example. It may seem like a waste of time, but it's also a powerful tool for activism and connecting people across the world.
I don't buy it, Barack. Any social media besides Truth Social is just a democratic feeding ground that spreads fake news. Not to mention all there seems to be on other platforms are girls with double-digit IQs following meaningless trends.
I understand your concerns, Don, but we can't discount the positive impact social media has, like all those shit posts that we have laughed at over the years. And as for video games, they're not all mindless like Fortnite. Many of them teach problem-solving skills and encourage creativity.
You know what, Barack? You're right. We shouldn't dismiss the youth of today. They have a lot to offer, especially those thirst traps on TikTok.
Joe, those kids are young enough to be your grandchildren.
Of course, Creepy Joe uses TikTok for purposes like that, but you're right, Obama. I still wish it could be more like when we were young.
There's nothing wrong with reminiscing, Don. But let's not forget to appreciate the present and look forward to the future.
Hey, George, good to see you. We were just talking about the good old days.
You guys are living in the past, Joe.
What do you mean, George?
I think George is trying to say that the good old days weren't great for everyone, Donald.
That's right, Barack. We can't ignore the issues of inequality and injustice that plagued our society in the past.
But don't you miss some things from back then, George?
Yeah, I miss being responsible for the worst attack on American soil. Real fond memories.
Nice to hear you finally admit it, Bush.
Oh, fuck off, Obama.
Jesus Christ, George, what crawled up your ass and died?
Let's focus on the positive things from the past. Think about all the progress that we've made since then.
What positive things, Joe? What about problems like racism?
That's not what we're talking about, George. We're talking about the economy and the sense of patriotism. That is just a benefit that comes with a strong economy. Besides, I didn't hear you complaining when you used terror to declare war on brown people.
Yes, Donald, the economy was strong for some, but not for all. And patriotism shouldn't be used as an excuse for discrimination and injustice.
That's exactly right, Barack.
Don't get all preachy on us, you two, especially when the both of you took a fat dump on the Middle East.
You guys just don't get it. The good old days were great, and I'm gonna make them great again.
Here we go again with this shit.
What's up, fellas? Why the long faces?
Jack, we're just shooting the breeze about the good old days.
Ah, the good old days. I remember those well, especially the fun I had with Marilyn Monroe in the Oval Office. But we can't live in the past, guys. We gotta keep our eyes on the future.
Maybe you should have kept your eyes out in Dallas, but the good old days were great, JFK.
Yeah, you're not wrong, Donnie. But we can't forget the struggles we faced back then, too. Like black and white TV and polio. We can't just sit around longing for the past.
That's right, Johnny.
Agreed, JFK. We gotta take the lessons we learned in the past and use them to shape our future.
Yeah, I guess you're right, JFK. Maybe we can put our political differences aside and find some common ground. For example, I think we can all agree that Hillary didn't have the stamina to control her husband, never mind this country.
I can agree with that.
Can't say you're wrong about that, Don.
Exactly, Donnie. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, we're all Americans, right? We all want what's best for our country.
See, guys, we can all get along. Now let's brainstorm some ideas on how we can work together to make America even better.
Well, considering that you and Joe are here, we are at least one brain short in total, but I'm sure we can figure something out.
Hey guys, I just want to take a minute here to say that even though the world is going through a rough time with violence, tragedy, and mental health, if we can all get along like the presidents do in this video, we can all work together to make the world better. Remember to love one another and have a blessed day.